Yes, my name is Kate Wenger. I am Mrs. Missouri America 2021. I am a reading specialist and interventionist. I am a wife and a mother to three wonderful but very precocious boys.
You are the only woman in the house.
Yes, our dog is also a boy. I am the only woman in our house.
You are the queen of the house.
Oh, let's hope. Right now I'm wanted. He got in. I thought I had him out of here. I know. Hi. But you're not being interviewed. Thank you. He loves me. They all do. No, I love him too.
I have behind my computer, I have a cat. Next to me, I have only two cats. And out on the soil, I have the sweet cats.
Oh, they want to be by you.
Yes. You competed at Mrs. America pageant. Why did you decide to enter this year in Mrs. America system?
I decided to enter the Mrs. America system because I had always wanted to compete in a pageant. I competed in the county fair pageant in my community about 15 years ago. And our MC was Mrs. Missouri America that year. And it was the first time that I had heard of the organization. And I just always had that information in the back of my mind. If I ever wanted to compete, I would want to compete in Mrs. America. This past year, I decided there are a lot of things that I still want to do in my life, even though I'm married and have children, and made a list, and competing in Mrs. America was one of those. But it's not only a bucket list item for me. There are many wonderful pageants out there for married women, but for me, Mrs. America was the one to compete in because of the legacy, because of the amount of support there are for amongst everyone. And another reason is because of their charity organizations and what they're involved in. It's very important to me.
You say me during your childhood, we have competed in some pageant, fair pageant, not at Miss USA or Miss America system.
None in the Mrs. America system. None in what most Americans think most people think is a traditional pageant system. The Mrs. Missouri pageant was my first official pageant in that system. The county fair pageant was about how you can support your community, and I am very involved and I love supporting my community. I have a servant's heart and feel that I'm a better person when I'm in service to others. But this was what I consider true pageantry. The Mrs. Missouri pageant was the first pageant that I had entered and competed in.
What is your secret to manage at the same time your current duty, your family, and your work? Are you a superwoman?
I'm not superwoman, but I do try. A few years ago, I decided to get back into professional dancing. I have danced my entire life, and I wanted to get back into professional dancing, specifically professional cheerleading, dancing on a team for sports organizations. But I also had three children, and I am a working professional, and I have my home and my husband and my family. And a very good friend of mine said, you know, if you can be your best self in the other aspects of your life, why can't you go after your dreams? So that really stuck with me. I was able to dance for 2 years with this professional dance team. And because of that, even though it was hectic and busy at times, we were able to make it work. And I really loved that I got that opportunity so I could show my children that when you're older, support your significant other and their dreams, no matter what you're doing. Go after your dreams too. So as I said earlier, even though it truly was a bucket list, I really want to make a difference, more of a difference in my community. And what better way than to do it through either the state pageant, Missouri or now through Mrs. America.
If you win the crown of Mrs. America, your husband is ready for this because all candidates, all Mrs. World interviewed say me it's a full-time job and we have a lot of event, a lot of travel, and we are not at home a lot of time. And your husband is ready for this?
I believe he is. When I approached him, I can't speak for him, but I would hope he is. He's been my biggest supporter throughout the past 2 months. The Mrs. Missouri pageant was only the second week of September, and here we are only in the second week of November. So in the last 8 weeks, he has been my greatest supporter, my biggest cheerleader, and helping me get ready as well. So I really truly believe I am ready for the task, and I have the support system to help me get there. And yes, I am currently a working professional, but if graced with the honor of being Mrs. America and getting to compete for Mrs. World, I have a really great support system that will help me.
I'm so sad to be at Mrs. America because all candidates say me, my husband is my best cheerleader. And I want to see the fight of cheerleader in the audience because all husbands become cheerleader of our wife. It's really amazing.
That's my wife. She should be winning. But you know, I think when it comes down to it, I think it's wonderful that our husbands are our biggest supporters, because I know that I wouldn't be able to do this without him. And I'm sure a lot of the other women, they wouldn't be able to do it either without their husbands. But I would hope that even though they're supportive and they want their wife to win, that there wouldn't be a fight breaking out. My sons are very proud of me. Yes. Being boys, they, I don't think necessarily really understood at first what I was doing, but they were extremely supportive of me. They tell their friends, my mom is Mrs. Missouri. My oldest son actually goes to school where I teach, and he has not been embarrassed that many of the students know that I was crowned Mrs. Missouri, because being a reading specialist and interventionist, one of the reasons I am competing is to spread awareness for dyslexia. And many of my students meet those characteristics. And when I did not tell them that I was competing, but then after I was crowned Mrs. Missouri, I came back to school and many of them knew it because there were signs and my classroom was decorated. And a lot of them told me thank you, because they said a lot of people, they don't understand the difficulties they have reading. So everyone's been really supportive, and especially my children. I really appreciate their support.
You wear the sash and the crown on your classroom?
I did. I did not plan to. I was asked by my coworkers to please bring it in because they wanted to see it. Not everyone was able to come to the pageant in person. And then when I arrived at school and got to my classroom and there were people there waiting for me, then I was told, yes, put it on. Okay, wear it all day. I did wear it for part of the time. And the joke was, you know, I joke with my students even before the pageant, I'm the queen of this classroom, you know, what I say goes. But for that day, I actually got to wear a crown.
You say me, if you win the crown of Mrs. America, you go compete at Mrs. World. And yeah. This year is me. It's me personally. I cover the Mrs. World in January in Las Vegas. And if you come in Las Vegas, you can meet face to face this year.
Yes.
To become Mrs. World, is it a dream for you?
Yes, it would be a dream. It would. The entire experience has been very surreal, but now that I have joined the pageantry family, I really do enjoy this, and everyone that I've met and spoken to has been extremely gracious and kind-hearted, and I really do feel that, you know, I wouldn't be competing if I didn't feel that I could fill the role of Mrs. America and then compete in Mrs. World. And you know, the current Mrs. World is named Kate, so maybe there's something about that name that's good luck.
Yes, I have interview Kate.
You never know. You never know. And my dog, he supports me too, and he thinks that
Your dog
Just
travel.
crashing the party.
Your dog
He's
travel
crashing.
to Las Vegas this weekend?
My dog, is
Yes.
he going to Las Vegas? No, he's staying home. Just me this weekend, not him.
And for the national, for the final, all your family go to Las Vegas, I imagine.
Yes, my mother is coming. My husband is not able to come, unfortunately. We really tried to make it work, but there was a very short turnaround time from the state pageant to Mrs. America. So despite us trying extremely hard with children's schedules and his work schedule and supportive family, it just didn't happen. But they're going to be cheering me on from home.
About your son, which value do you inculcate to your son?
I think one of the biggest values that we try to instill in our children is having a servant's heart and in being of service to others. Both my husband and I grew up in more of middle-class families. We didn't have any large wants or needs, and we grew up learning to be in service to others. And I hope that we've instilled in our children. Our boys are very involved in service projects through Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts. And they themselves ask to be involved in certain things and be involved in the community. So I hope we're doing right by them.
And what is your best memory of service?
With my children or myself? Or both?
What do you want?
I think my favorite memory of being in service to others, especially with my students, even though my career is being an educator, I'm working with students who struggle with reading, and at a middle school level. So ages 11, 12, 13, 14, they're not new to reading. So anytime one of my students has one of those light bulb moments and they're able to make the connections, or they themselves are seeing some success, that's I feel is one of the greatest things, the greatest acts of service that I could do. So even though it is my career and it is my job that I make money from it, I'm still trying to help them in any way that I can. And then with my children being involved in Scouts, last year, because of COVID, Scouting for Food, which is one of the Scouts' largest fundraisers and service projects, where they go and collect canned goods for food pantries across the nation, it was canceled. But my two oldest sons decided to have their own food drive and raised almost 750 items themselves, two little boys, in 2 weeks. So those are some of my favorite service memories that we have.
You seem to have a lot of service. You seem to have to help a lot of your community. During the pandemic, what have you learned about yourself?
I have learned that sometimes I am my worst critic, and that I need to perhaps have more confidence in myself. And I think even though I'm very proud of a lot of my accomplishments, I was not my own biggest cheerleader. I'm a very humble person. So I'm not a person who would maybe post many things on social media or tell many people that what I'm involved in, but that's very different being involved in a pageant and speaking about yourself. So I think I've learned to be proud of who I am and to be able to talk to others about that. And just being confident that I'm making a difference, and it is, you know, you can still be humble, but you can still talk about yourself and talk about your accomplishments.
And some people say we don't need a beauty queen during the pandemic. I think it's not the reality, because a lot of beauty queen help the community to become a role model for a lot of person, a lot of people during this pandemic. What is your definition to be a beauty queen during the pandemic?
I think that to be a beauty queen, you have to have beauty both inside and out. I don't think that there's any one definition of beauty, physical beauty, inner beauty. I think a lot of that comes from a person's personality, their character. I think that being a very good person and giving back is beautiful in itself. So I will, while some people do say that about beauty queens and pageants, I don't agree with them. And I would hope that they would really try and understand the systems so they could form a better opinion about what beauty pageants are.
And for your title for Mrs. America pageant, what is your platform?
My platform is dyslexia awareness and early childhood literacy. Dyslexia actually is a neurological difference in the way that the brain processes reading. And it has been widely known for many years, and the proper interventions have been known for many years, but it's not something that's being really implemented. My dog. So that's really upsetting to me as a reading specialist and someone who has people in her family that have characteristics of dyslexia, that this has been widely known for many years throughout the reading community, but we're really still not doing a lot to help these people that have characteristics of dyslexia. And it actually can affect 20% of the population of the entire world. Dyslexia knows no race, no gender, no socioeconomic status. It can affect anyone. The brain was not wired for reading. Our brains were wired for oral communication because we are the only species that has a sound symbol correspondence to our language. So if the brain was not necessarily wired for oral communication, we need to do something for people who have that difficulty in reading. And another thing that I'm passionate about is early childhood literacy, because a lot of people with dyslexia sometimes don't have the background knowledge and the vocabulary that a lot of other children were exposed to in their early childhood years.
And I imagine this platform is only a United States platform for the moment, a national-wide platform, but do you think it's maybe a worldwide platform for Mrs. World?
I do. I really do feel that my platform is a worldwide platform. As I said earlier, dyslexia affects 20% of the population. It affects people in every country, of every language, gender, socioeconomic status, race, culture. If there is a written language, a sound symbol correspondence to our spoken language, there are people who are going to have trouble with that. They're going to have dyslexia. And that 20% of the population has dyslexia, that's billions of people. So I really do feel that my platform is a worldwide platform.
I imagine you have started your preparation because it's very, very soon, Mrs. America. What is the most difficult during this preparation, for the pageant?
I feel the most difficult preparation for me was necessarily understanding everything that I needed to prepare. I did prepare with friends who had competed in pageants before, competing for a state pageant, but I did not know anyone who had made it to a national pageant. And I think that was the most eye-opening thing to me. It's been an amazing experience. I've loved every minute of it, but that wasn't something that I had necessarily had exposure to. So just prepping and getting ready for everything, including interview, the time away from my family, wardrobe, all of the little things that you might forget. I think the entire experience getting ready for the national pageant was eye-opening for me. I don't think there's any one thing that I could necessarily pinpoint.
A lot of candidates this year in this promotion competed for the first time. You are not alone. Mrs. I think it's Mrs. Mrs. Pennsylvania is the first time at Mrs. America, and Mrs. Yes, and we have Mrs. South Carolina too. We have three
their
or
first
four
times as well.
Yes, three. I have interviewed a lot of candidates, and I think it's 4 candidates competed in the pageantry for the first time. You are not alone. Have you some?
All right, I am very happy to hear that.
Have you some fear on the stage about the stage of Mrs. America? Have you afraid to fall on the stage, for example?
I think my only fear would necessarily be falling. I've been a performer for most of my life as far as dance. So I do feel very comfortable on the stage, but it's a quite different stage than I'm used to. So there is a bit of fear in necessarily falling and making sure I make it to where I'm supposed to be. But there's also a lot of excitement. I'm very excited to experience this. This is new, but I am very excited. I am a very adventurous person. And like to try new things. So this is something new, but I really am going to try and make the very most out of it.
For you, what is your best asset to win this crown of Mrs. America?
I don't know. I don't know. It's a really tough question. I'm just looking forward to a lot of things.
It's a pageant question. It's a very pageant question. A lot of jury ask this question during the interview challenge, the interview part of the competition.
Yes, I'm nervous for the interview, but I have been working with amazing people to help me get ready. So I really hope that I can show them the true Kate and how passionate I am about my platform, and that it really is needed more dyslexia awareness and more early intervention for people who have dyslexia.
What is your style on stage? Are you classical? Are you sexy? Are you elegant? Are you a mix of all? What is your style?
I feel that I'm more of a mix of classy and elegant. I will try and bring a little bit of sexy, but I am more of I'm a boy mom. I'm just more of a girl next door type of person. So I think that I will be more classy and elegant.
Imagine you win the crown of Mrs. America. Which message to women do you want to pass during your reign?
I want my message to be that for women, regardless of who you are, be confident in yourself, go after your dreams, whether that be to just make it through the day, because that is what some people need, or if that is to compete in a pageant, or if that is to build your business, or if that is to fight for a cause that you believe in, that you go after it and you can do it.
What is the most difficult for you, to be a mother or to be a beauty queen?
I think it is more difficult to be a beauty queen. my oldest is almost 13, so I've been a mother for almost 13 years, but I've only been Mrs. Missouri for 8 weeks. So I think it has been more difficult to be a beauty queen or be Mrs. Missouri. But every day I'm learning more and I'm really enjoying the role. So I feel that hopefully I'm doing Missouri proud.
I'm sure you are motivated. You are the motivation to make proud all states. It's your first time. It's your first time. It's title your first pageant. It's not a problem. I have a lot of example to beauty queen win the crown for the first time. It's not a problem. You can win this crown. You can become Mrs. America. You are.
Thank you.
You are the best. You must take yourself.
Yes. If you don't believe in yourself.
Yeah, and showing the true Kate. It's possible. I have an example. Miss World, not Mrs. It's Miss World. We have a young contestant win the crown of Miss World in 2010. And she wins the national crown when she tried for the first time. And after this, she go to Miss World and she won the crown of Miss World.
That is amazing.
Yes, it's possible.
It definitely is possible. You're right. And I feel that if you don't believe in yourself, how is anyone else going to believe in you? So I was saying, I think that I've learned that to have confidence in myself and to not be my own worst critic. Yes, if I don't believe in myself, then no one else will.
This year, the promotion of Miss America is a high level because you have all candidates have a great platform, a great personality, and judging this promotion is, for me, in my opinion, very difficult. I don't know who will win the crown because it's very difficult. All candidates have the chance to win this crown, and I can't wait to watch because I want to watch this pageant by live stream. I watch this pageant by live stream, and I can't wait this because I want to know who is the winner this year. It's very important for me because I have no idea. For Miss World this year, I have my favorite. I think Miss South Africa will win the crown. I'm sure. Because I work in this industry since 20 years, and I know the stereotype of Miss World, of Miss Universe. But this year for Miss America, all candidates can win this crown. All candidates have the chance.
That's amazing to hear, and to hear that you've been in the industry for 20 years and that you're feeling that you don't know. But it's been very great talking to you, and I'm really excited to go and meet all of the other women, and whomever is chosen for Mrs. America, I'm sure is going to make quite an amazing difference in our country and hopefully our world as well.
You say me, you work with about the dyslexia. Are you a good reader? Are you a good reader?
Yes, I am. Reading is actually, other than dance, reading is my favorite pastime. And growing up, seeing the struggle that others in my family had actually caused, I feel that it caused a discord between us, because I did very well in school and reading was very easy for me, but for others in my family, it was not. It was very difficult. And while my first career choice was not, I was going to be a speech language therapist, And then I decided to become a special education and then reading teacher. I still do feel that this was my path, and what happened, how I grew up and seeing the struggle that people in my family had with reading led me to this path. There are others in my family, and there are signs of dyslexia. And one of those signs is delayed speech. And for younger children, it can also be rhyming. And my youngest son does have difficulty with and meet some of those characteristics. So while he's just in kindergarten and learning to read, it's possible that he also may have dyslexia, since dyslexia is hereditary. So while myself, I have not struggled with reading, I've still lived that daily struggle with people in my family. And now we're starting to see those signs in our youngest son. So we're living that as parents and being concerned. So while I haven't personally lived it, many really close to me have. And so, sorry, I'm getting a little emotional about this. It's very near and dear to my heart.
Yes, I feel your emotion. This platform is very important for you. I feel this, and I think you must keep this emotion for the national. It's very important to show your emotion to the judge.
Yes, it is very important to me. So yes, that emotion does come through, and I appreciate you saying that.
What is your favorite book?
My absolute favorite book is actually a trilogy. It is the All Souls trilogy by Deborah Harkness. It is a wonderful tale of a historian, a professor, so a teacher, and she is very involved with books. She actually is a witch, so there's a bit of fantasy involved too, and it's a very epic tale of her coming to understand who she is as a magical creature. And it is also a tale of acceptance and equality and being true to yourself. And I could talk about it for days, but if anyone is looking for a book or a trilogy with a really great story that centers around books and about finding oneself, I strongly recommend it.
And what is your guilty pleasure?
Oh, chocolate. Other than reading, I do love reading. Chocolate. I absolutely love, whether it's hot chocolate, milk chocolate, dark chocolate, chocolate cake. I love chocolate.
For a lot of candidates, chocolate is a guilty pleasure. Yes,
it is.
And
I miss it right now.
the other guilty pleasure of candidate is the Bachelor and the Bachelorette.
I do love The Bachelor and Bachelorette. I have not seen it in quite a while. My TV guilty pleasure is Dancing with the Stars. Absolutely love that show.
Yes, I have when I move, I have the season in France of Dancing with the Stars, and when I move, I have the season of United States. I have all time Dancing with the Stars.
Yes, it's an amazing show.
Yes,
I love that you love it.
Are you a good chef?
I am a good chef, but I am a much better baker. I love baking. I'm a messy baker. Please don't ask me to decorate anything, and I'll have ingredients all over the place. But I absolutely adore baking, and it's one of my favorite things to do with my grandmother who's still alive. She's 93 and a half, and it's one of our favorite things to do together.
And what is your favorite recipe or your favorite dessert?
Oh, my favorite dessert to make is Oreo cheesecake. my favorite dessert to eat, yes, I love Oreo cheesecake, but my favorite dessert to eat would be my grandmother's chocolate chip cookies. Nothing compares to her homemade chocolate chip cookies. They're so wonderful.
What is your beauty secret?
Drinking lots of water. That's very important. I think having good genes from my mother is also important, but I think also confidence. Having confidence and a smile would be other beauty secrets.
You represent Missouri. What do you like the most in your state?
I absolutely adore my state. I absolutely adore my community. We're the gateway to the West. There are so many wonderful hidden gems. Missouri is the cave state. So if you love caves and seeing amazing geoecological features, come visit Missouri. We have some of the most amazing states in the country, but not a lot of people know that. So I think that just the topography and the nature in Missouri are some of my favorite things. It doesn't matter where you go in the state, you're going to be in awe of how beautiful it is. Even in the winter when there's no leaves on the trees and it's cold, you'll find some amazing things to see.
I imagine you use a lot of social media to promote your platform, your theater.
Yes.
What do you prefer? Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, maybe?
As much as I love dancing, I actually do not have TikTok. And I know I really should get it because there's a lot of wonderful things on TikTok. I see them when people post their TikToks on Facebook and Instagram. I think it depends on what I'm wanting to do. I really like Instagram for, photo stories, but I also think that Facebook sometimes is a little bit easier to connect with people. But I am using social media to promote my platform and my reign. But up until being crowned Mrs. Missouri, even though I have the accounts, I was not very active on social media. I am more of a private person. So I think this has sort of helped me open up too and, post more about myself and who I am.
And how do you manage to protect your family and yourself against the bad comment of haters? But because social media have a dark side with the hater, with the discrimination, with the body shaming.
It does. It really does have a dark side. And I had never actually experienced really the dark side of social media until being crowned and having things publicly out there. My children don't have any social media accounts. They don't have any devices themselves that connect. And but we have very frank conversations with our children about that. And something that I've experienced, there have been people who have commented some very negative things, and they're adults, and I'm an adult. So I can't even imagine what that would be like for a child and how harmful that could be. So we really just protect our children by not posting their information out there, talking to them about it, and then also promoting ourselves in a healthy way. I don't want to ever hurt anyone's feelings or comment negatively about someone, so I keep that to myself. And that's really hard in this day and age. A lot of people, even personally, they don't have their filter. And I think that's something that tends to be lost right now.
And social media grow up in the life. What do you think about the power of this social media? It's not too dangerous for the generation?
Mm-hmm. I think social media has a very strong influence in everything that we do, especially for our younger generations. But it's really about how your family, I think, raises you around it. We're really trying, it's not that we would never let our children have social media accounts, but we really want to make sure that they're in a place to understand that even though you might not be seeing these people face to face, what you're putting out there, you might delete it, but it stays there forever. And you really impact someone's day. So just as in person, you wouldn't want to be hurting someone's feelings or speaking to them necessarily in a negative way. You really need to think before you act, especially on social media. And I do think that's lost sometimes, but I do hope that people are learning, you know, that even though you're using social media, to make sure that you are presenting yourself in the best way possible and to be kind.
What is wow, amazing in your purse?
I'm sorry, I muted myself accidentally. In my purse, I have a little bag that literally has everything in it that I received from a friend when she was getting married. So I have a superlative for my dance team that the person that usually has whatever you're looking for, because I keep everything in my purse. So if anyone needs anything, I've got it. I would like to say thank you so much for all your support. I would not be able to do this without the people who are supporting me. And even though I am new to pageantry, I'm really trying to make a difference. And for anyone who is concerned about their child's reading or feels that school was a struggle for them, and dyslexia is not just about reading, it can also affect body language and spoken language and other things like that. If you've ever felt concerned about those things, please research dyslexia. You might fit the criteria, and if you do, I am fighting for you.